And action. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining me today for our love streaming, which I think I have to start calling it that now because it's getting changed around the internet with you guys. So welcome to our 65th love streaming session. Let me think. Okay, we've got a lot of people signing up for the Palm Springs retreat and the Costa Rica retreat, which is wonderful. Costa Rica is March 12th to 17th, 5 days, 5 nights, all inclusive for the price. And it will be us just in the hotel there, no one else. Somebody commented that it's impossible to get a pool without children in it at that time of year, but we're going to manage that. And the Palm Springs retreat still has some openings. That's a little less expensive. It's January 31st to the 3rd. And we have a lovely big home rented with a pool. I'm not sure if it's going to be warm enough. I'm going to see if there's a heater in there and I can get the owners to turn it on. But it will be sunny and a nice break for those of you who are in the northern climes. So that's a little, just trying to think if there's anything else I needed to say. Nope, I don't think so. Can you type some yeses? Here I am going on and type some yeses so that I know that you all can hear me okay, please. Okay, perfect. The yeses are coming in. Okay, let's see what Jesus has to say as his introduction. I'll see you in a bit. You are blessed beings indeed. I am that one that you know as Jesus, and these are important times on your planet, as we tell you every time we talk to you, and we tell you every time when we talk to you because you forget. You get caught up in the mundaneness of your ordinary lives. You get caught up in the news streams and the dramas of your planet. But we want to remind you every single time that we talk to you that the energies are escalating on this planet, and you are going to see people beginning to struggle with the shifts and changes, not only of their internal world, but the external world too. Systems are going to become unstable. Systems such as your governmental systems, your financial systems, your weather systems, and internally the systems that are going to become unstable are your perhaps your eating systems, your emotional systems, your family systems are going to be stressed. We remind you why, because anything that has not yet been dealt with and brought to a frequency of love will arise for that process to begin. So this is not about hating what is happening. This is not about judging what is happening. This is about appreciating that you are being given opportunities to deal with that which is in your mind, which is unloving. How do you go about this process when you begin to see that so much is changing? Well, the answer for you is inside. It is always inside, regardless of what your society says. It is always inside that the solution lies. The kingdom of heaven is within you. And so within you is the guidance system that says, I am angry at this person. When you go outside to solve that problem, you may yell at them, you may separate yourself from them, you may gossip about them, you may do all kinds of things, write them a nasty email, whatever it is that you decide to do outside of yourself. Those would be considered external solutions. Medications would be considered external solutions. Going to a yoga class would be considered an external solution, believe it or not. Internal solutions are self-inquiry. What's going on in here? What is the feeling? Okay, I feel angry at that person, but why am I angry? Well, they told me something that wasn't true. They lied to me. What does that mean? Well, they lied to me. That's wrong to do. But that's not the answer to the question. Go deeper. Why is lying to you wrong? Well, then I don't trust them. Why don't you trust them? Well, because they lied to me. When I don't trust them, I don't feel safe. Ah, so you don't feel safe. You feel fear. You feel as if you might be betrayed or attacked. Yes. So what you'll see in that little dialogue there is that it feels like anger, but actually it's fear. If it's not love, it's fear. So how do you resolve a situation like that where someone has lied to you and that frightens you, makes you lose your trust and puts you into a state of fear? You must then go to the truth, which is that your safety does not depend upon another person. That is the fundamental issue that's going on in a scenario such as that. You are asking the person to behave in a particular way so that you feel safe, that you feel secure. That is not where your security should come from. Your security and comfort should come from your connection to the divine, from your connection to the knowledge that you are an eternal spiritual being, and that the other bodies in your play, the people, the places, the things and experiences will come and go, will constantly change throughout your life, and that is not a place to look to for security because it is changeable. It is not going to last, whatever it is, whether it's a relationship or money or a house or job or children, everything is going to change. Do not seek your security, your feeling of safety from things outside of you that are temporary, because you will always be in a state of anxiety then. When you are looking at the wrong place for future security, you will feel anxious. When you are looking at the past for blame for current situations, you will feel depressed. You are looking in the wrong place in the past and the future and outside of yourself. Go inside, turn that mirror on yourself and ask those questions. What's this really about? Oh, my coworker is undermining me at work. Why am I angry? Well, that would be fear. You're afraid that the coworker is going to undermine you and get you to lose your job. So what does that mean? Oh, I'm looking to my paycheck to give me security and safety in the world. Well, that's a very, very unreliable place. A lot of humans do it. A lot of humans are trained into that in this society. But if you are seeing your life's purpose as maintaining your paycheck, you will be anxious and fearful. That is not where your security comes from. Your security comes from the knowledge that you are an eternal spiritual being having a temporary physical experience. So don't get attached to the body either. And you are capable of bringing to you through focused intention and attention with your mind that which you want, that which you wish to experience. It does not come via a paycheck, even though you've been taught that that is so. We want you to know that you can have the most magnificent experiences without money. If money disappeared tomorrow, the world would not end, nor would your creative powers, nor would your insane thoughts. It would all just stay there and morph into something new. So when you feel these upsets coming up, use these kinds of examples that we've just given you here as ways to figure out what's actually going on. The ultimate fear for all of you is that you're going to die and that you're separated from God. That's really the fundamental issue that you're all dealing with. It takes the forms of many, many systems and separation devices, but that is really what you are afraid of. And when you get to that truth, you can then turn to God, turn to spirit, and make that connection and know that there is no such thing as death, because your consciousness continues on throughout eternity. It never passes away. The bodies come and go. but your consciousness never will. So not only are you not abandoned by God, most of you have abandoned God. That's why you feel so alone. But if you turn to spirit, if you turn to prayer and meditation and the means and books that we have given you through this being, and of course, A Course in Miracles, you will cease feeling alone. You will begin to feel more connected to Source, to that eternal energy, that benevolent, loving force that is part and parcel of your creative power. And you will not look to the world for your salvation. You will not look to other people for your salvation either. And we want to address this here because often the ego will tell a story that you must have people doing certain things a certain way to be okay. No, you don't. Your connection to your brothers and sisters comes from that connection to the divine, knowing that everybody is a sacred being, and therefore everyone has their guidance system. Everybody is being guided to do what is best for them given their state of consciousness, and that you cannot change someone's behavior because of your decision. Now, you can work miracles from your decisions, which means that there will be a shift in relationships around you when you do your forgiveness work and you focus on love and you focus on your own guidance and you focus on your own life, staying in your own lane, investing in what you want to invest in, curious about what you're curious about, looking after your health, looking after your consciousness, looking after your mind, your body, your heart. When you do that, miracles will occur and people will seem to change. They won't change from the ego's point of view, though. If you're fully in your ego and attacking someone else and judging them as having bad behavior and that they shouldn't do something, you won't win that battle. You can transform the world, however, from doing the internal forgiveness work. And that is why, of course, it's called A Course in Miracles, because you can begin to work miracles through your forgiveness practice and through the realignment of your consciousness up, up, up into the higher realms of positive, pure source energy where creation begins. So as the energies escalate and people become less stable, systems become less stable, you who have been given the appropriate means to calm the mind will be a light in the darkness for those beings. Not only that, you will see very clearly, once you have trained your mind a little bit, that your upsets come from sloppy thinking. Your upsets come from going back into the ego's way of looking at things, trying to predict the future too far away from you. This is a great cause of anxiety and worry in many of you. So we want you to know that you have the tools in your toolbox with the Course in Miracles and the books that this being and the videos that this being has brought forth to remain calm through these coming storms. Nobody can do it for you. Nobody who is outside of you can control your thoughts. Nobody who is outside of you can decide what your mind should focus on. Only you can do that. And that is what this time requires of you. When you look at the world and you begin to get scared, stop looking at the world. Say to yourself, this is the ego's playground. There are wars and shenanigans and fights and battles and all kinds of manipulations going on out there based on the ego's thought system. If I look to that place to make me happy, I am but a fool. Don't do it. Don't look to the world and expect it to make you happy. It will not make you happy unless you do the interior work first, retooling, recalibrating, reassessing everything that you've been taught, realigning yourself with the concepts and ideas and beliefs that are contained within the Course in Miracles text, lessons and manual for teachers. And in that realignment, you will know that the world is going to do its thing out there but you do not have to be affected by it. You have the ability to focus on a fire or a flower. You have the ability to focus on ignorance or wisdom. You have the ability to focus on the rain or the sun. Now, we will tell you, of course, as you go through A Course in Miracles, that you will start to appreciate the rain because your judgments will fade away. And you'll begin to walk in the rain and look up and go, thank you, Lord, for the rain. We do not want dry land. We do not want tinder dry trees here. We want them growing and healthy. We want water to grow food. Thank you for the rain. And that is one of the most simple prayers that you can see changes how you look at even an ordinary day where nothing in particular is happening. It's a rainy day. Remember those days when you used to look out of the window and be all sad, oh, it's a rainy day. But once your mind is healed, you go, wow, beautiful, a rainy day. Let me be grateful for watering the plants and all of that wonderful nutrition that's going to be washed down to their roots. Let me be thankful that there's a roof over my head. Let me be thankful that I can throw a log on the fire and read that really good book that's inspiring me right now. Let me be thankful for this rainy day. So your responsibility as Course in Miracles students and as students of this teaching is to master your mind and to know that the world is not designed to make you happy. It is designed to tempt you. It is designed to hide the truth from you. It is designed to confuse you. It is designed to be a veil over that which is really what you want to discover, which is the inner workings of your own consciousness. So all those shiny things out there, the fires and the cars and the bodies and the houses, are all there to make you look outside of yourself for the solution, and it is not there. We want you to know that this does not mean that you do not fully participate in your life. On the contrary, when your mind is healed, when you are focusing on positivity, you want to get out in the world each day. You may want to go for a walk in the mountains. You may want to meet a friend for a cup of tea or something because you're happy, because you're content, because you have energy. You want to extend this light that you are uncovering in yourself. You don't want to curl up in a ball and hide. You may want to curl under a comforter and read a book, but it's not through any state of depression or sadness or avoidance. It's just what you feel. And that will ebb and flow throughout the day. You might read for a couple of hours, then you might feel your body wants to move. And so you get up and put your coat on and go outside, and you appreciate the contrast between the toasty warm house and the cool and crisp exterior. Life is simple. Keep it simple. Keep it based in presence, and let those stories about the disasters flow through your mind very, very quickly. Observe and go, yep, there's the ego's playground doing its thing. I'm not going to look at it to make me happy. I'm going to go inside and ask, what do I feel like doing right now? Oh, I feel like going for a walk. Oh, I feel like writing a letter. Oh, I feel like painting a painting. I feel like going for a walk with my dog. I feel like petting my cat. I feel like reading a book. I feel like having a nap. I feel like going to the grocery store and buying some nice food for dinner. Go simple, and you will be in presence, and you will hear the guidance that is for you. When this being was in the early stages of her training program, there were days where she thought, this can't be all there is. These long, quiet days of reading A Course in Miracles and doing simple things, lighting a fire and chopping wood and cooking a meal. Those were precious days because she had not known quiet. She had not known peace. She had not known that the simplest of days was a beautiful thing. And that was an important lesson to learn. So if you are in that place where nothing much seems to be happening, be grateful for peace of mind that allows you to enjoy the simplest of activities. We will speak to you again shortly. Nice. Okay, I'm gonna have a little sip here. Okay, we have a few questions. This one is from Carl. Hi, Carl. Could you speak about masculine and feminine energies and their qualities and expressions? What is the purpose of this splitting of energy? Also, the divine feminine is widely spoken of in spiritual circles, but could you clarify what divine masculine is? In a previous streaming, you said that our world has too much masculine energy and too little feminine, which causes imbalance and great destruction on our planet. You deemed this to the effect of the masculine harsh ways. But I've got another take on it. Could it be that the issue is not too much and too little of one or the other, but rather the energies in themselves are imbalanced? Both the masculine and the feminine has a light side and a dark side, and now they both show their dark sides. And he goes on a little bit here. It's a long question. It seems to me that both the feminine and the masculine energies are equally out of balance and equally responsible for our world's destruction, destructive ways and bad habits. Am I right? Maybe. Okay, let's see what Ananda says about masculine and feminine. We're with you again, dear ones. Thank you all for joining us today. We are Ananda. We are your guides and teachers, and we are always, always grateful for this physical coming together that is a global phenomenon. We are with all of you today in this moment, and we are asking all of you to allow us to give you upgrades as we are working with you in this open energy system right now. So if you would like to have an energy upgrade, we would like you to take a moment to close your eyes, and we would like you to give an affirmative, yes, Ananda, I give you permission to give me an energy upgrade during this transmission period. Please do so if you feel comfortable doing that. If you don't feel comfortable doing that, then do not do it. Free will rules, remember. Okay, so what we have here is a very, very good question. There seems to be an imbalance in your society between the masculine and feminine energies. And that is so. The masculine energies have been overly favored, and the feminine energies have been overly in disfavor. So what you have is a seemingly overbearing masculine energy, and it is in the unevolved, or as the question asker put it, the dark side. Each energy has an evolved and an unevolved aspect. You are very, very correct in posing the question that way. The masculine, the divine masculine, if you want to have a look at that, would be things like loving strength, determination, focus to achieve goals, ability to act in the world and to achieve positive, constructive building of things and orchestrating and organizing of things to the benefit of the whole society. That is really the most important part of that description, to the benefit of everybody, not just the ego self, not just the masculine side of the population. The unevolved, you see it out there, raping and pillaging of the land, extracting resources without any thought for the future generations, warring instead of the warrior energy, which would be a strong man defending his family against a wild creature, for example. That kind of strength is necessary in a natural environment. Being able to chop down trees, perhaps, to build a home, that's a very physically strong activity. Wielding an axe, wielding a saw, honing the wood and moving it around. These are not the chores that a woman can do when she's nursing a baby, for example. That has to be done by the warrior in the group. Now, that doesn't necessarily have to just be men. This is another qualification that we want to pass along here. There are women who have strong masculine sides to them. And so their masculine, their warrior energy is big, and they would prefer to help build a log house than nurse a baby, and that is okay. The feminine, the sacred feminine, is honoring that which is contained within the natural feminine state. Now, this is something that's very tricky in your society because of your conditioning programs. There is a pacification of the feminine. So high heels, for example, who can get anything done wearing high heels? But look at your business women in a downtown environment. Wearing high heels and stockings and these kinds of things is very, very difficult to function at full capacity. So that would be an unevolved aspect of the feminine. Even though they may be power brokers, they are still demonstrating the unevolved aspect of the feminine, the disempowering. High heels are very disempowering, and they're very sexualizing, which means that they're emphasizing the body as bait, the body as valuable, rather than the creativity, the integrity, the mind of the intelligence of that being. So these are some of the areas where you're going to see the unevolved feminine. You're going to see it in domestic housewife chores being unpaid or undervalued. That is a consequence of what you would think is a patriarchal system, but it also comes from the feminine side not insisting on it being valued. That is something that is a tricky thing in your society. There cannot be a power over without somebody who's willing to be the victim of that power over. So there are lots of facets to this subject. What we want you to know is that when you go inside and do the spiritual practice as described in A Course in Miracles and the books that have come through this being, you will find that you are less likely to need to, let us say if you are a woman, you are much less likely to use your body as bait to get something you want when you understand that your power is connected to the divine and that everybody is equally powerful in this society in their ability to focus their mind and focus their intention and attention on what they want. So it matters not whether you are man or woman. You are all created equal in the eyes of God, and that is the truth. These other affectations are societal and cultural, and they may be quite different. Societal teachings may be what you learn in school. Cultural teachings may be what your family teaches you about what a good woman is or what a good man is. So is it just the overpowered masculine that you're seeing? No, there is a flip side to everything. The feminine is underpowered. Unfortunately, in your society, what generally has to happen because of the systems that are in place is that the woman has to behave more like a man to get anywhere in society. And in that training program to become more like a man, to become successful, she will actually disconnect herself from those feminine qualities of receptivity and creativity and internal emotional intelligence. So there's a whole retooling of your society happening. And as you know, when a pendulum swings very, very far one way, which your society has indeed done, it must swing the other way. And so that is the process that you are in now. The pendulum has swung far the other way in terms of women going into the workforce and this kind of thing, but still predominantly women, for example, are taking care of all of the household chores. Still, this is a very, very common thing. Even though you consider yourself liberated in the Western society, it is not so. As long as the woman's doing all the housework and wearing high heels to work, that is not liberation, we will tell you. We do not want to encourage or suggest that only army boots are okay and short haircuts, but there is a sensible way of presenting the body in comfortable clothing that suits the work to be done, and the freedom to choose or not to choose what you want to do, regardless of what parents, cultures, or society says. That is true freedom. And that is what occurs in societies on other planets. There are planets that have the masculine and feminine body structures for sexual reproduction, but there is no value placed of one above the other. One is not considered more important than the other. In fact, often the nurturing and the birthing of children and the caring for children is one of the most high priorities. And that is not so in your society. You do not look after your children. They get sent to school in uncomfortable circumstances, rigorous training programs that shut down their creativity, restrictive processes that punish them and shame them, poor education practices that teach them things that are useless, that are not going to help them thrive in the new earth. Vaccination programs that are detrimental to their health. So we challenge all of you on that who have children or who have nieces or nephews or grandchildren to really ask yourself, how loving am I to these? Do I just say, hey there, and be quiet and sit in the corner? Or am I participating in the raising of that child? Am I saying to my sister or brother who has 3 or 4 children, let me take the oldest one out for a day. We'll hang out and we'll do some interesting things, give you guys a break, and I'd like to develop a relationship with that child. Are you doing that? Are you willing to do that? Extend yourself to love the children in your family and to give them something that perhaps they can't get from their busy parents who are trying to make ends meet. For yourselves individually, you want to look at yourself and go, where do I behave like a guy because that's what guys do? Where do I behave like a girl because that's what girls do? What do I really want to do? Oh, well, I'm a girl, but I would really like to be a welder. I haven't told anybody that because I'm afraid people will laugh at me. That is the kind of thing that you want to look at and go, well, where's that coming from, that welding thing? Well, I'd really like to make wrought iron gates. This is a creative idea I've had, and I can't do it without learning how to weld, but I'm scared. So that would, if you were a woman feeling those thoughts and ideas, then you'd be like, okay, I have a creative urge. I have a clear vision of what I'd like to make. And it is my cultural training, my family training perhaps too, that's making me scared to train in the skill and the talent that I need to express myself. Is that a good idea? Well, no, because then I'm going to be limiting. I'm going to be following a path of creativity that's not exactly what I want to do, and that will make spirit not too happy, and I will probably make myself sick if I don't do that. So let me question that fear. Let me step out a little bit and begin to speak up a little bit and do a little research and find out other women welders and email them and ask them how it's going and what they did and what they'd do differently if they had to choose that training again. These are the kinds of proactive things you can do to question why you're doing what you're doing. The masculine is a challenging subject right now because the indoctrination that young men go through is very, very powerful from a very, very early age to be strong and tough and unfeeling and not expressing emotion. And that doesn't work very well at all. But you can work from where you are, work with the lessons of A Course in Miracles and your true feelings, and begin when you go inside, because that's where the answer lies. Go inside and ask yourself, what kind of lifestyle appeals to me? If I didn't have anyone else looking at me, if I didn't have to please my father or please my mother or talk to my friends about it and wish that they liked me because I'm cool, what would I do? Where would I live? How would I be? You may find that you don't want to get a high-powered job as a lawyer downtown, that you actually would like to grow flowers in the farm area. And you think, wow, that's not a very masculine job. But let us tell you, that would be a beautiful expression if that's what you feel. There are beings who have done traditionally feminine pursuits that have become very successful as men because they have brought that directed, focused energy to that and have thrived in what would be a traditionally feminine art. For example, knitting or sewing or embroidery. There are men who've become famous doing that because they have brought that male focused attention and the ability to move and act in the world to that. Instead of knitting booties, they have created pieces of art and put on art shows and become bigger and better in some ways because of their training. So your society is going through a great revolution here, and we want each of you to go through an internal questioning of what it is that you like to do, and is it masculine or is it feminine? Question. Ask yourself, is that masculine or feminine? Or, well, no, that's just what our society calls it, but really, is it more masculine to learn how to be a carpenter? Or is it perfectly okay as a woman to learn to be a carpenter? You can ask those questions, and the answers will be specific and unique to you. You have a blueprint, and some of you will have come into this world to shake up the system a little bit, and you may very well be doing things that aren't traditionally assigned to the sex that you have in the physical body. Now, how does this relate to non-dualistic teachings? Well, the separation of the masculine and feminine through your society and the ideologies that have shaped your society are ego-driven. And the physiology of the separated sexes is ego-driven. It is not spirit-driven in that sense. You can infuse the body with a directive to follow spirit, however, and then the actions and the words and the experiences that you bring to yourself will be in alignment with love. And that will affect your ability to find partners. It will affect your ability to even have a partner. You may find that in your spiritual practice, taking yourself deep into your own consciousness, that you find that you don't need a partner as much because you are much more fulfilled in your own expression of yourself, and you are not depriving yourself of things because now you're questioning, can I do this myself? And you are beginning to see, instead of trying to chase after a partner to give me X, Y, or Z, I'm going to say, okay, well, I seem to want X, Y, or Z. Why don't I provide it for myself? Why don't I learn how to do it and see if I can provide that for myself? And this is something that often comes from a spiritual practice. The lack of seeking outside of yourself, the turning inward and healing that which is distorted in your own mind, will in fact make you much less needy, much less dualistic. And in that loss of dualism, you may find that you are perfectly fine and happy and whole by yourself. The other part of the question that was not read by our dear one was about twin flames. And twin flames is really one of the, we all say it's an ego device that's been laid upon the spiritual world. It's about finding that long lost half of you that you cannot be complete without. And just from listening to us say that, you can hear that that is a story of separation. That is not a story of unity, because you should not have to find something outside of yourself to be whole. You are complete. You are perfect. The separation never occurred. It is returning home that will bring you that satisfaction. However, in the ego's dramas and in the ego's plays and in this multiplicity of separation experiences that you call incarnations, there are sacred contracts. That means that you have assignments with certain people to address certain issues. And they will seem to be twin flames, or they will seem to be soulmates, inexorably drawing you towards them. Often, however, those relationships are not about all lovey-dovey hearts and flowers, but they are about working out some difficult issues of ego. And so it can seem to be that your soulmate is in some ways your worst enemy, but they may be very well the very path to the next level of your consciousness through forgiveness, through practicing these principles that we teach throughout the many methods that we use here. So if you want to meet your twin flame, prepare yourself by getting your mind sorted out. Prepare yourself by dealing with your fears and dealing with your insecurities and dealing with your projections and dealing with your judgments. Get that garden beautifully weeded and prepared for a new garden, and know that when you are in the right place at the right time, in the right frequency, in the right state of mind, you will perhaps meet the right person. Some of you don't. Some of you prefer singlehood, and some of you have great projects that require dedication and time, and that would be precluded by having a partner. And it is important for you to understand this. If you don't have a partner right now, it's because you're not meant to have a partner right now. If you do have a partner right now, it's because you're meant to have a partner right now. So start with radical acceptance of that and continue to do your work with the Course in Miracles, and all will balance itself out in the end. We will speak to you again shortly. Good. I love them. Okay, I'm going to have a sip of tea, chat amongst yourselves for a moment. Okay. The next question. It's a lot of words. I've recently heard of a seeming disproportionate number of suicides among young people who would seem to have a lot going for them. I am wondering if there is a rise in suicides, or if it is just coming into my field of awareness as part of my own forgiveness practice. If an increase in suicide is a phenomenon, is it associated with specific countries, specifically the USA and the energies here? Or is it perhaps related to a larger phenomenon of the awakening higher planetary frequencies, or even harmful frequencies such as 5G, which sensitive people are being bathed in and cannot handle? Thank you. Very good question. I think that was Dawn from Sedona. Okay. Let's see what Jesus says. You are blessed beings indeed, and suicide is the ultimate denial of that. And it is a very, very sad thing, because a mind that is attacking the body does not understand the laws of creation and does not understand how life works. And that is really the ultimate confusion that is playing out. And yes, suicides are on the increase. They are on the increase in terms of those individual acts where somebody will intentionally take their life. But a lot of people are killing themselves slowly but surely through other means, unhealthy lifestyles, these kinds of things where they don't understand life. So life does not work for them, and they cannot get to where they want to go. And so they feel disillusioned and underpowered and fearful of their future. And so they may medicate themselves with many, many different things that are detrimental to the body's health. And so that's a slow suicide. We don't want you to think of the other suicide as completely different. It really isn't. But those beings who commit suicide are, first of all, demonstrating their misunderstanding of what life is and how it's generated and where it comes from. Your experience comes from mind only, mind activated by spirit. And so if you kill the body, it doesn't make any difference whatsoever. Your mind and spirit continue on, your consciousness continues on in that desperate frequency of murderous rage or intense fear or self-loathing, whatever the frequency is, a very, very low frequency. And it will manufacture another incarnation because it was unable to learn the lessons of this incarnation. And so it is really a waste of time. It means that body mind then has to be recreated to have another opportunity to learn or experience that which it did not manage to achieve in that suicidal life. From Spirit's point of view, we do intervene in suicide attempts often because the free will of the being has become so distorted that they are not actually making sane decision. Although there are those of you that would say suicide in certain circumstances is a very sane thing. Not if you understand the laws of creation, it's not sane. If you understand that your life is for you to use, to evolve, to grow, to expand, to create, to express, and you are given the tools to do that, then life becomes a good thing. It becomes a happy dream. As we say in A Course in Miracles, before you return home completely, the nightmare turns into a happy dream, and you realize that you have the ability to shift and change everything that is happening to you. But the suffering of the suicide is mental and emotional, and that is an interior job. That is the untrained mind, the hateful ego running riot, inflicting hateful beliefs and ideas on the possessor of that mind, on the being who is feeling suicidal. Is it focused in different countries? Yes, there are certain countries that have higher suicide rates than others because of the restrictions placed upon the creativity and the self-expression of those beings. Some societies place great restrictions on creativity, but they provide support for their society. So we're talking about some of the Scandinavian countries. They are quite regimented in their their modus operandi, but they have a social security system that does not abandon, that has medical paid for and school paid for and these kinds of things. So even if you're struggling with your mind, even if you're struggling with some of the limitations of that particular society, you have access to things that can improve your mood, improve your position in society, and give you some sense of a future that is less than dark. Other societies that have no social welfare programs, that are purely and extremely capitalistic, are very frightening places to live for the being who is not high achieving. And the United States would be considered one of those. If you aren't a high functioning person able to work really hard and go to school and educate yourself, you are going to have a hard time of it, slogging away with 2 or 3 jobs and not able to see a light at the end of the tunnel. And being bombarded with mass media systems about big houses and fancy cars and nice clothes and beauty and all these things, if you are not in that group, it can be a pretty depressing country to live in if you are undereducated, not highly have a low intelligence, or if you're unattractive, or if you're living in a very, very poor community and there are no opportunities. These are some of the very, very depressing aspects of the United States of America. And yes, those things do cause people to attempt suicide. So yes, there are some forces at play in your society, as well as environmental devastation. There are a lot of young people who look at the future of the earth and go, why should I care? There's not going to be anything here for me in 10 or 15 or 20 years. Let me just drink and drug myself into oblivion because it really doesn't matter. And a lot of those drug overdoses that you see, hundreds happening with the opioid crisis that is occurring in your society, that is what is driving those drug use experiences, is a sense of disillusionment and fear about the future. And so a poor decision in the present doesn't seem to be such a bad idea. And in fact, some of those overdoses are not accidental. They are young beings saying, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm not having any fun. So there are a multiplicity of effects at play. And it is, however, always a lack of education about the laws of creation, and knowing that with dedicated practice, with a mind training program, that you can bring into being that which you are seeking. And in that bringing into being that which you are seeking to experience in this incarnation, you start to have a little bit more fun, and you start to feel the vital life force of spirit saying, yes, that's why we came here. Yeah, we came here to build houses. We came here to write music. We came here to sing. We came here to paint. We came here to have a beautiful family. And if you are on track and if you are training yourself, you will slowly but surely begin to see those things coming to you, because you will be able to discipline your mind enough, to focus your mind enough to say, I am not looking at what I don't want. I am not going to look at reality. I am going to look and obsess with things that I would like to have in my experience. And I'm going to act as if that's coming. And so that means if I'm going to act as if that thing is coming into my future, that means I should be happy, because that college education that I really want is coming to me. I'm going to manifest it somehow, some way. And I'm going to be grateful and happy that I am able to feel joy at and eager at anticipation at this future thing that I know is going to come my way. So if you don't have what you want, focus on it. If you're feeling sad or depressed or lonely, stop focusing on it. Focus on what you want. Become a diligent and disciplined, intelligent focuser of your mind on that which you would like to experience. We are here on this side to assist many beings who are suicidal. We can, at moments of deep surrender, which is something that can happen just before a suicide attempt, we can intervene, and we have done that, and we will do that if it is at all possible. If the mind cracks open a little bit in despair, which it can do, and it can ask for help sometimes, then we will go in and we will at times get somebody to call you. We will get somebody to accidentally drop over. These are some of the ways that we can influence and intervene if somebody on their knees about to kill themselves says, please help me, I can't do this anymore. And in that moment, we are tacitly given permission to assist. Your job is to stay in your lane. The question asker asks, is this something to do with my forgiveness practice? Yes. Do not fear for those beings who commit suicide. They are loved, they are forgiven, they are cared for on the other side, and a lot of work is done with them when they come over if they've traumatized themselves over a long period of time. They are loved and cared for as you are loved and cared for in choosing life. They are loved and cared for in seemingly choosing death, but there is no such thing as death. They merely killed the body. They did not kill the consciousness. They did not kill the opportunity to learn. They will get another opportunity to learn after their rehabilitation. So you can say a prayer for someone. If you hear that somebody has committed suicide, you can wish them well on their way, and that will always work. And if you have an encounter in your daily life with someone who is suicidal or has a friend or family member who is suicidal, share this information with them. Share the book, Great Minds Speak to You, with them, because there is a lot of information there about the death and dying process and what it feels like and how it is handled from spirit's side. So we hope that that answers your question. We will return shortly. All right. I think that was a good answer. Okay, sip. Question for the love stream. Many people in this group want to do the wonderful 11-11 meditation on a more regular basis. Since many of us live in different time zones, Renee did a good job in managing different local times to connect us all at the same time. Yet 11-11 is such a great reminder and very easy to stick to. Time is an illusion, right? Does it still matter in co-creating? Can we just leave it up to you, Jesus and Ananda, to connect and enhance our vivid and loving images despite time and place? Or maybe ask for help from someone else? Who would that be? Okay. So the idea of the timing and the collective action being important. It's a good question. Oh, we're with you again, dear ones. there is a greater benefit to coming together at the same time, because what you are doing is you are aligning yourselves. You are saying we are all in this together and we are focusing. Remember, it's about focus and it's about intention. When you get together in a group at a particular time, as you are here, now, you know that when you listen to the live streaming event, after the live streaming event, the recorded event, it is a different experience because it is not live, it is not collective. You are picking a time and place that is convenient to you to listen to something that was on at a time that was not convenient to you. So now, there is no judgment in this when we talk about this particular subject, but in that decision that it was not convenient to you, and some of that is perfectly justifiable. We understand it's 4 a.m. in some parts of the world. But you are saying tacitly that my sleep is more important than tuning into the live stream. And that is okay. That is your decision. Or if you're having a busy day, you may be going to lunch with friends and you may say, oh, well, I'll watch the live stream when I get back home. I can't do it now. I'm going for lunch with my friends. And in that moment, you too are saying the live streaming is not as important as going to lunch with my friends. Again, perfectly fine. Watch it later. But as with everything, you want to understand that convenience is not always the only thing that needs to be addressed. Look at your practice in the early stages of doing A Course in Miracles lessons. You realize that most of the things in your day are more important than doing the lessons. You will go through 5, 6, 7, 8 hours sometimes and think, oh my goodness, I didn't do my lessons. What was I thinking? Well, you were caught up in your life. You were caught up in the day-to-day actions of your life. However, that statement is, my life and what I'm busy doing is more important than these lessons. That is a belief that is going to manifest in behavior. And it is important to understand that knowing what you want to do at a particular time because you value it is one of those intention and attention moments. Now, if you want to get together with people and do meditations with them, make it fun. Don't make it a chore, because then you're going to go into it with resistance. If you decide to get together at a particular time, do that. Or you can say to each other, let's all just do it at 11:11 in whatever time zone we are in. But in that collectivity, in that connecting, you are still saying we're doing it together. We're all doing it at 11:11 in our own time zone. So that may seem to be a contradiction, but no, it's still a discipline. It's still saying we're doing this as a collective. Let's all know each other's names. Let's all agree we are doing it at that time and set our alarm clocks so that we remember. The collective consciousness of your planet is what creates your society. And it is very important to remember that these moments of meditation are beneficial. However, the other 24 hours are also important. And that is really what we want to address at this moment. Yes, these collective meditation moments are good self-discipline and they focus your mind and heart for a few minutes. But don't forget about the other 23 hours and 50 minutes. That is a lot of focusing time. That is a lot of intentional time that can be dedicated to what you choose to magnetize to you. So don't let the organized meditation distract you or detract from the rest of your day. Do not think that 10 minutes is going to be much more powerful than the rest of the day. All of you knowing this, all of you focusing when you can, when you're doing the dishes, for example, or when you're blow drying your hair, or when you're walking your dog, focus on what you want more of. Focus in appreciation on what you already have that you would like to continue on in your life. The constant focusing of your mind in the end is the meditation we are seeking to lead you towards. Now, that may seem oppressive and onerous, but it is not. Once you have mastered your mind, it is very quiet most of the time. It is very easy to manage most of the time. And those early years of the constant nagging ego voice will disappear, and you will end up with a quiet mind that is very, very easygoing. So do focus. Use it as a discipline, use it as a teaching, learning device, and understand that whatever you do to focus on that which you want, that which is good, that which is loving, that which is kind, that which is collective, that which you want more of, is going to benefit humanity. It is going to benefit your health, and it is going to benefit your pocketbook and your abundance level. So do it for a multiplicity of reasons, but truthfully, the discipline of mind, the practice of meditation, and the clarification of your consciousness is one of the most selfish acts you can do, because it will benefit you and your life, and it will turn your nightmare into a happy dream. So why not do whatever you can to achieve that increase in frequency? The more you focus on that which you love, on that which you appreciate, the less you focus on judgment and resistance and rumination and pondering on things you hate, the better off everybody will be. You do not need any help. We are merely here to guide you. We are merely here to encourage you. And we are merely here to say, take back your mind, use it for that which you want more of, and all will improve. We will speak to you again shortly. Okie dokie. Question for love streaming. Last week, Ananda talked about how our family members are best served to focus in on their next incarnation. What role do mediums play in our world? Are we truly connecting with loved ones? It would seem that there is some purpose mediums play since they've been around forever. I've had my focus on connecting with family that has passed for many years, and I'm feeling like their advice would be that we be better served getting to know our guides instead. Thanks. Okay. Mediums, connecting with family. Is it true? You are blessed beings indeed, and the multidimensional nature of your consciousness is being revealed to you in mediumship. That is really what is going on there. Mediums, in fact, are, we will say, aberrant, extreme members of your society that have come in with a particular talent they may have cultivated, but most mediums have a natural talent. So there, as you can see, there are beings that have a natural talent for music, a natural talent for art. It doesn't mean you can't learn music. It doesn't mean you can't learn art. But there are those prodigies that show up as having a natural talent, we will say. They can, however, improve it. So it's no different than that. Because you have been pushed away from communicating with the spirit world through the foundations of your society, the church's prohibition on that very thing, it seems to be more unusual than the musician prodigy or the art prodigy, but it is not. It is exactly the same thing. And it is a talent just like those talents, and it can and should be cultivated if you feel so drawn to it. However, we want you to understand the idea of frequency and the concept of magnetizing to you that which is of a like frequency. Again, because of the nature of spiritual communication, we say do the Course in Miracles and that kind of forgiveness practice first, so that when you get contact, it's of a high frequency. It's not contaminated with fear and judgment and earthbound, materialistic, addictive kinds of frequencies. There are beings who hang around in the non-physical who are very low frequency. And if you are low frequency, trying to communicate with spirit, they will happily come and talk to you. Not something that we recommend. This is not designed to scare you. It is just a warning, like a speed sign on a road. If you are going down a road and you see a sign that says, go 60, steep curves and hills ahead, we would suggest that you listen to that advice, because if you don't and you head down that road at 100, you are going to encounter some problems. It's the same thing. When we say, watch your frequency when you're communicating with beings, that's what we mean. Go at this particular pace, because that is what's going to serve you and keep you safe. Do mediums serve a purpose? Of course they serve a purpose, just as any talent serves a purpose. Different beings have different skill sets and different focuses and different abilities, and they are drawn to do certain things as their personal self-expression in this incarnation, and it is as it should be. This place is a place of separation into physical, so that you can have specific experiences that teach you things and that bring you joy and that expand your consciousness and upload experiences into the higher levels of consciousness. That is what you're doing here. Family members that are constantly pestered by earthbound beings can get annoyed, because they are off doing their own thing. They are no longer in physical form. There is an arrogance in a way when a being pesters family members to always come and talk to them, to come and see them. They are saying that the earth is more important than spirit. They're saying, come and help me here. I need this. I want advice on this. Which car should I buy? Should I go back to school? What should I invest in? Should I date this person? These are your concerns. They should be answered by your own guidance, which indeed can come and does come from spirit, saying, yep, that person's someone you need to spend some time with, or yep, that's the career that you wanted to explore while you were here, so go ahead, we're going to give you some enthusiasm here. So you are getting spiritual guidance all the time from your feelings, from your internal guidance system. And if you don't know that, then you dismiss it a little bit. You're like, well, I'm interested and I'm not interested. Should I do it? Is it the best thing? When you go to others for guidance all the time, that means that you're not listening to your own guidance. And that means that you're feeling that you don't have the answer. And that is one of the fundamental problems with mediumship, is that people will become addicted to going to mediums or getting readings to get the answers that they actually can get from their own consciousness and their own guides and teachers in the form of feelings, in the form of enthusiasm or interest or curiosity or a revulsion or detachment from something. However, spirit uses whatever is the opening in the mind of the being that we are speaking about. They will use what you believe in to access you. And if you believe in the afterlife, and if you believe that your family's got more wise advice than you have, and you want to go to a medium to get that advice, then spirit will use that opening and opportunity to give you some information. It may not always be what you want. However, if the person that you are seeking advice from is not a highly evolved soul, you may get bad advice. They may not be as high a frequency as you think. Just because they're dead does not mean that they are wise. Even though spirit does go through a transformation in that death process, as you call it, the ego drops away and clarity comes. It does not mean that they are in a place of the ascended master teacher, for example, and so they may give you some erroneous guidance. They may still have beliefs and ideas that have not been clarified that they bring into that communication with you. So we encourage you again to, if you want to go to a medium, go to a medium, have some fun, see what they say, find out what it's all about. But don't go every week. Don't keep going there to find answers. Cultivate your connection with the divine. Cultivate your inner guidance. Master your own mind first. Otherwise, you are merely getting little bits of candy for the ego in some ways. There are beings who constantly go to mediums and constantly want that communication instead of living their own lives in their own physical bodies, in their own presence, listening to their blueprint guidance. They are constantly trying to get in touch with the spiritual world. Live your life based on your own inner feelings, your own curiosity, your own passions. Do the training of mind and heart. Look after your physical body, because it is the thing that takes you on this journey from A to B to Z to A to B to Z, and eventually home again. Look after it, because the more you look after it, the more experiences you can choose to have, and the more you'll get accomplished in this incarnation. There are beings who end up incapacitated quite early in their life because of poor choices, and they end up not being able to do very many things, and they may end up slipping into depression and sadness and an early death. However, that's not the end of the world. It is merely a passing on of the spirit to the non-physical once again, where the life will be reviewed and it will be assessed, and you will have another opportunity to learn more and more. The learning never stops. The growth never stops. So be enthusiastic about your experience, be enthusiastic about your life, be enthusiastic about your creativity and your self-expression and what you'd like to do while you are here on the physical plane, and do your best to live a full and exciting life. And if you don't want to, that's okay too. You'll get to have that experience, and you'll get to review that experience when you pass over. There is no judgment on Spirit's side for what you choose to do. There will merely be a valid experience that you get to have and that you get to assess once you have your life review. We will return shortly. All right. You can do what you want. We can do what we want. I used to dream about being a channeler. I remember about, 20 years ago, I would dream about channeling and think, oh, that would be a cool job. It is a cool job. Okay. Can Jesus and Ananda enlighten us more about the Om sound? In old traditions, it has been hailed as the starting point of all creation. Is it the same sound matrix from which the light emerged and which is represented by the threefold founder flame within the inner heart? On a side note, how is it related with Amen? Okay. The Om. We're with you again, dear ones. Your environment has many aspects to it that are used to facilitate expansion points. This sound is one of them. It is indeed an ancient sound. It is a sound that is associated with the creation of the separated world, in fact. However, it is not a bad thing. It is a sound that will bring you back to the origin of that separation, which was the fall, which was an error, which is the point that forgiveness practice is designed to take you back to, which is the moment of creation, which is the moment that you thought you were separated from God and made into an individual being. So it is that starting point in that sense. When you say that sound and you focus your mind on that sound, it is a clarification in that sense. It will reset you a little bit. So if you are feeling upset or if you are feeling tired, saying Om 3 times can be a very, very good thing for you to do. And even when you do it at the beginning of a yoga class or at the end of a yoga class, which is often the only place that it is done, you will feel that resonance within your body. And that is the same resonance in a sense that your favorite song will do for you too. It is hitting certain notes that you like. It is in alignment with you for whatever reason. It brings you into that place of ease. So it is not the only thing that can do that for you. There are many esoteric texts that refer to many, many different beings, many, many different levels of consciousness, many, many different twin flames, violet flames, archangels, hearts, minds, all of these things. We want you to understand that thinking about so many things often does not benefit you. We want you in this incarnation to do your forgiveness practice. This is the powerhouse, the real powerhouse of coming to peace. And it is in coming to peace that you connect to knowledge and that you open up your mind to realms that are filled with information for you and guidance for you. Thinking about things too much is not a good idea. That is the ego's way of, in fact, procrastinating. So we would like to encourage you not to try and figure out things, but we would like you to forgive, step back from judgment, step back from overly intellectualizing about things and studying old texts, for example, not because they're wrong. Many of these texts are absolutely in alignment with truth, but you have been given a modern doctrine that is designed to deal with the complications and the distortions of the modern Judeo-Christian Western society at this time and in this place. And it is the most powerful thing that you can do to deal with your resentments, to deal with your belief in separation. Use the Om sound whenever you feel that you need a reset. It is a powerful, powerful tool, and the chanting and oming and singing and hymns that are done in monastic situations are done for that reason. It is a toning, and some of you have seen our dear ones sing and do toning, and the light language that many of you are speaking is a healing toning experience. So it can come to you in many ways. So yes, use the Om sound if it appeals to you. If it doesn't appeal to you, use your favorite music to uplift your mood. If that doesn't appeal to you, silence and prayer, meditation, but most of all, your forgiveness practice will take you where you want to go. Right. Okie dokie. That's a short answer. Okay. Here is a question I hope you can illuminate me on. Those of you who are more versed in ACIM than me, I am wondering how to view peacekeepers from A Course in Miracles point of view. By peacekeepers, I mean people who show up at demonstrations, rallies, etc. as part of a peace team, a neutral group of people that protects people in both sides of a conflict. They are there to de-escalate potentially dangerous situations and put themselves right between the aggressors and those who are being targeted. Is this a foolish thing to do? We are encouraged to meditate on the happy, peaceful, just world that we want, and I support that 100%. Okay, I didn't know that people did that. Peacekeepers at demonstrations. Okay. Oh, okay. You are the peacekeepers. that is what we are encouraging you to do here, to contemplate peace, to teach peace, to learn peace, to let go of war, to let go of conflict and judgment. And it is in the internal process of doing that that you will help, ironically enough, with physical demonstrations. The beings who are there providing physical demonstration of the intention to keep peace are, we will say, one step removed from the peacekeepers that you are being. If you are a Course in Miracles person and you are guided by your interest and curiosity to participate in a demonstration such as this by being a peacekeeper, then go ahead and do that. Your guidance will let you know. And those beings that go to those demonstrations are being guided not to stand on one side yelling at the other, not to be a part of the aggression, but to be a demonstration of another frequency. And so, yes, they are very, very, very powerful symbols of peace. The question is, are they doing the interior work that will, in fact, create true peace? If you are standing between warring sides and you are still in conflict in your mind, then the presence of your physical body will do nothing. If, however, you are truly peaceful and you are truly forgiving and loving of each side, realizing that their battle is one of ego and futile in that sense, and you are truly holding a place of love, forgiveness, unconditional peacefulness, then you are doing a wonderful thing. But you don't have to be there in physical form, although that is a valuable contribution to a conflict such as a demonstration. Police are often considered peacekeepers, but as you can tell from their attire, that's not really what they are. They are, in fact, preparing for war. You can tell by the guns and the batons and the riot masks that they wear. They are not preparing for peace. They are preparing for war. So if you see a battle going on between the left and the right, between the pro and the anti, do your homework, do your Course in Miracles practice, and know, and we understand that you are so taught in this world to do physical things, to demonstrate your beliefs, to support or go against something. But we encourage you over and over again, support what you want. Do not fight against what you don't want. Support what you want. If you are anti-abortion, then help pay for single mum's food. Help fix a single mum's car so that she can get to work and look after that child that you want to be born. If you are anti-vaxxer, then spread that information around, but don't do it in a vitriolic way. Do it in a way that sheds light on the subject and information on the subject. Do real research and share that real research if you feel that this is your subject. Whatever your subject is, go into it and do it in a positive way. If you are anti-GMO foods, you can go to your supermarket and you can tell them, I am not going to support any products that have GMO products in them. I would really appreciate you labeling what products are organic or that are GMO free. I will buy those products. They may very well listen to you if you go in there in a positive way. And as well, go to your local farmer and buy those products that you know are fresh and organic. Support the people that are doing what you want. You can write all the letters you want. You can protest all you want. But if you go in with vitriol, if you go in with anger and you are holding the same frequency of war, that is not going to take your society ahead on this path to the fifth dimension. Those beings that understand the laws of creation are the most powerful beings on your planet. And we consider you all fifth dimensional beings because you are here, you are curious, you are learning, you are practicing, you are demonstrating, and you know that you cannot change somebody's minds. You cannot change somebody else's mind with words, but you can demonstrate through your actions that which you believe in. and people will notice, and that energy will support the system that you are focusing on and supporting. That is simply the way it is. What you focus on, whether you want it or not, will grow from your energy contribution. So make sure that you are contributing peace. And if you are called through your guidance system to go to a demonstration, go if you feel that that is the right thing to do for you. Your guidance system will teach you perfectly what is the next best step for you. We love you very much, and we are here with you all of the time, and we are helping many of you upgrade at this time. So once again, we say, when you go to bed, please call upon us to assist you in your ascension process. Please call upon us to message you in your dreams, to give you information, to take you on astral journeys at night, teaching you and showing you things that you will need to know for your future. We can do those things. We can assist you, but you must give us permission, and you must be fearless in that sense. You cannot be asking for something that terrifies you. You cannot fake the frequency. So ask for those things if you are in 100% alignment with getting that upgrade and instruction and teaching in your dream time. It's a very, very powerful time for us to help you. We thank you for joining us here, and we look forward to our next conversation. We will speak to you again at another time. All right. Okay. My goodness, this time goes so fast for me, mostly because I'm not here. Thank you all again. I am going on hopefully on Wednesday, going on a road trip with Delphi Dog. So that is my my next stage of my relationship with my pup. We're going to drive down the West Coast, and we're going to be trying to avoid all the smoke, but we'll do our best. So we'll certainly be a couple of weeks away before our next session. So thank you all for joining me, and I'll talk to you again soon. Bye.